You're listening to KOUG Radio. Listen live online at KOUGradio.org.
Here we go. We're back a week later. Episode 2. Broadcasting live from the KOUG Radio room here on the Washington State University, Vancouver campus. This is Real Original with Aaric Rodgers. I'm your host, Aaric Rodgers. We got the first show jitters out of the way. So episode 2 should be a lot better. We didn't get the sponsorship calls that we were looking for after episode 1, so maybe we'll find some. I'm looking at my phone right now, so no messages yet. My agent hasn't told me anything. I'm my own agent, actually, so I'm like the Lamar Jackson of podcasting. I represent myself. So just like Lamar, there's no suitors yet. We'll see how that goes. So anyways, we got some stuff to talk about. We only got 1 hour. Commercial free hour though, so we can fit a lot in. Like I said, no sponsorships calling yet, so the Brinks truck isn't backing up beep beep with tons of cash for me, so I can do what I want, I can say what I want, with the exception of, I don't know, a few curse words I can't say. Most curse words I can't say, I guess. But we're back. We're happy to be here. A lot's happened since the last time we were on air. We have our Final Four matchups set this weekend. Houston, NRG Stadium. Who picked this Final Four bracket? I guess like there were 36 or something out of 20 million plus ESPN brackets that were picked correctly. And by the way, of those 36 brackets or whatever it was, however many there were correct, how many brackets did you guys fill out? I mean, seriously, I guarantee your first bracket picked was not Florida Atlantic versus San Diego State and Miami versus UConn. I'm going out on a limb there, but I'm going to say that was not your first bracket. It probably took you 7, 8, 27, 20. How many brackets did you fill out? Honestly, be real here. By the way, if you want to let me know, you can find me on Twitter at me, Aaric Rodgers with 2 A's, at Aaric Rodgers with 2 A's. You can find me on Twitter. You can email me if you want. Aaric Rodgers, realoriginal@gmail.com. Yep, Gmail. I don't have a sponsored radio email yet. So let's see. I think I did also I did make a Twitter page for the pod as well. Real Original Pod at Real Original. Excuse me. I don't have a cough little button either, so you're gonna hear me clearing my throat every once in a while. Yeah, at Real Original Pod. Tweet me, at me, whatever you want to call it. At Real Original Pod, at Aaric Rodgers. One of the two, or both, or email, however you want to do it. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How many brackets did you fill out? Honestly. But I got to say, we talked about this last week. We got parity. We got parity in the NCAA tournament this year, and I got to say, I love it. One blue blood, which, I mean, I consider UConn blue blood. They've won 4 national championships since 1999, which is pretty impressive. It might actually be the most since that time. I don't have a research team to look that up right now, but I did look up earlier that they have won 4 championships since 1999. They are a pretty consistent NCAA tournament appearance university. So I put them up there with the Dukes, with the North Carolinas, with the Kansas. They're a blue blood. They're in. Probably underseeded, really, if you think about it. They were a 4 seed. Probably could have been a 2 seed. They were number 1 in the standings for a good part of the season, first part of the season anyways. So good for them. This is the first time that none of the top 3 seeds have made the Final Four. No 1 seeds, no 2 seeds, no 3 seeds. UConn is a number 4. This is the first time no top 3 seed has made the Final Four, and I love it. I absolutely love it this year. You know, I feel like because the ratings might go down a little bit. Nobody knows who Florida Atlantic is. Nobody knows who, well, unless you're a sports person, nobody knows who San Diego State is. I do. I've been watching San Diego State since, since they had Kawhi Leonard. I know I'm going so far back. No, not really. What was that? 2009, 10? What year did Kawhi Leonard get drafted? I don't remember. But San Diego State was good back then. And honestly, I think I mentioned this last time, actually. They have one of the top 5 records since Kawhi Leonard has been on their team 13, 14 years ago. So, but yeah, we got an exciting weekend. Well, Saturday and culminating Monday with the championship game. So you got Florida Atlantic playing San Diego State. And who, yeah, like I said, who would have picked that? Dusty May, in his 5th year coaching Florida Atlantic. Dusty May, they call him the Ted Lasso of college basketball. Just a super optimistic guy. Didn't even look at the practice facilities. Didn't look at anything. Florida Atlantic came calling and he said, yeah, sure, I'll take that job. I don't know anything about it, but I'll take it. Kind of like me here. Washington State's like, hey, you want to do a podcast? Sure. I don't know anything about it, but I'll do it. Dusty May, super optimistic guy. So, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Florida Atlantic. I know Lane Kiffin coached the football team a couple years ago there. So that's the only thing I know about Florida Atlantic. I don't even know what city Florida Atlantic is in. That's how unfamiliar I am, or anybody is, the casual sports fan. Where is Florida Atlantic? Boca Raton. Boca Raton. So I've heard of Boca Raton. Could be a nice place. Never been there. Never been to Florida. Would love to go. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I've never been to Florida. How does that happen? I don't know. Anyways, so good for Florida Atlantic, man. First Final Four appearance in school history. They've probably only been to the tournament like twice total ever, which is pretty impressive. You know, nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows who Dusty May is. He's the Ted Lasso of college basketball. I hope you know who Ted Lasso is. Everybody on the planet should know who Ted Lasso is at this point. But, man, Florida Atlantic versus San Diego State. San Diego State, who's favored by a slight 2-point edge right now, which, you know, okay. I would have figured they would be favored by more, but, you know, Florida Atlantic, it's like, why can't you just say Florida? You know, it's gotta be Florida Atlantic. You gotta say Florida Atlantic every time, or FAU. So anyways, San Diego State, good basketball program, really good basketball program. Like I said, hopefully joining the Pac-12 in the next couple of years or so. We'll see. But they got a good squad, big squad, a lot of upperclassmen, a lot of transfers. You know, the transfer portal just blowing up now. Everybody's in the transfer portal. San Diego State taking advantage of that. Cohesive team. Good team. Brian Dutcher, the head coach, seems like a good guy. Been with the program for a pretty long time. Really ever since the program, you know, became a, can I say, national powerhouse. I mean, they make the tournament pretty consistently. He was on Steve Fisher's coaching staff when, like I said, going back to the Kawhi Leonard days where San Diego State was making the Sweet 16. Steve Fisher, longtime head coach, going all the way back to the Fab Five. He was the head coach of Michigan basketball when they had the Fab Five: Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, the other guys I can't think of right now. Like I said, I'm not a journalist. I'm full of useless information. Most of it about sports, a lot of it cloudy, but hey, we're doing it. So San Diego State, this is their first Final Four appearance. It was their first Elite Eight appearance. And they got a good chance here. They got a really good chance. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this basketball game. I do think San Diego State's gonna win. I think I think the slipper falls off here for FAU and their Cinderella run. The last time a West Coast team won a national championship, you got to go all the way back to 1997 and the University of Arizona. A couple of years before that, it was UCLA, but it's been a long time. And I don't even know if you can consider West Coast Arizona to be a West Coast. They're landlocked, right? So we're talking coast. You got to go back to UCLA. I think that was 95. But yeah, it's been far too long that a West Coast team has won a national championship. And I'm not saying that I think San Diego State's going to win, because, they're going to have to go up against a tough Miami team or a tough UConn team. We'll get to that game in just a second. But I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here. And, you got to go back even further if you're talking about a mid-major championship. Last time a mid-major won an NCAA championship was 1990. UNLV. Jerry Tarkanian coaching that basketball team. The very, very, dare I say, shady Tarkanian. So, and then before that, 24 more years before 1990, 1966, you had UTEP, which I don't know anything about that team. That goes well before my time here on Earth. So not a whole lot of mid-major schools winning NCAA championships. And how do you feel about that? Do you like the Blue Bloods, or do you like parity? I like parity, personally. I think more people will watch if you got the Blue Bloods, the Kansas, the Dukes, But this is going to be a fun weekend. That game in particular, FAU versus San Diego State, I don't think it gets any better than that. A number 9 versus a number 5. A number 9 versus a number 5. So very exciting. One of those teams is going to the national championship game. We're going to the ship. We're going to the ship. Good for them. Good for those schools. Very exciting stuff. On the other side of the bracket, Miami, first Final Four. Although, while impressive, it's not as impressive, right? The University of Miami has what seems like unlimited amount of booster money, or NIL money to offer these days. So they're by and large just putting together a pro squad. Although I will say it is impressive. Their head coach, Jim Larinaga, you might remember him from 2006 Final Four. He led the number 11 seed to he led the number 11 seed University of George Mason to a Final Four. And 11, not the lowest seed to make it, but, well, was the lowest at its point, I think. I can't remember what Loyola Chicago was. I think they were down there as well. But 2006, Jim Larinaga led George Mason, the 11 seed, to a Final Four. And that was very, very, very impressive. Very. And now he's back with Miami. And by all accounts, seems like a good guy. Doesn't mind that NIL has anything to do with college sports right now. He takes what he can get. So, and what he got is a Final Four squad. Not the ACC team that we thought would be in a Final Four. I mean, hell, you got Duke in that conference, North Carolina in that conference. So you got some blue bloods in that conference. And of all those teams, Miami is the one to come out. Very exciting stuff. They're going to face, like I said, a UConn team that has been there before. Maybe not these players, maybe not this coach. Obviously, Jim Calhoun is not there anymore. Kevin Ali is not there anymore. But they got what looks like to have been the most dominant team of the tournament so far. I mean, they throttled Gonzaga. I mean, it was ugly early. Drew Timme played okay, but they had no answer for Adama Sanogo, the huge center for Connecticut that really just looks to be unstoppable. It looks to be the most dominant player in the tournament so far. What you call a difference maker. And man, he is looking good. So I expect UConn to win. Slipper falls off for Miami, although at what point do you call a team a Cinderella team? I don't know. Miami's a 5 seed. San Diego State's a 5 seed. Florida Atlantic's a 9 seed. Are they all Cinderellas? I think the slipper falls off for Miami. Great run. Made it to the Final Four. UConn just looks too dominant. I mean, really. They really do. Like I said, 4 titles since 1999. 99, 04, 2011, 2014. They got a good squad. That's the second game of the Final Four this weekend on Saturday. Looking forward to it. Can't wait till Monday. We'll be back, I guess I'll be back on Friday. We can talk about this again, kind of rehash this conversation. But we had a great set of Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. Gonzaga pulled out a close game against UCLA, then got hammered against UConn. UConn just been hammering everybody. West Coast really just struggling. We think we talked about that last week. West Coast struggling as of late. Thank God SDSU is here, All right. It's enough about NCAA basketball. You know what's coming up? I'm full of energy today, man. I got to say, I had my coffee. I had my homemade latte, iced latte, made from home. I do have an espresso machine at my house, so it's quite nice to wake up, grind some beans, make an espresso shot, pour it on top of some homemade oat milk that my wife made the other day. We're getting it, right? We're trying to go all natural. We're trying to go no additives here. And I think it's working, man. I feel good. I feel great. I got a lot of energy. My wife made homemade oat milk the other day. I had to help, of course. I couldn't get out of it. I was laying on the couch. She was blending away. I was trying to watch a show. And she's all, "Hey, can you come help me?" Yeah, all right. You're interrupting my show anyways, so I guess. I'm not going to lie. It's not the best tasting oat milk that I've ever had. There's some brands out there that got some pretty good options, some pretty good flavor. The homemade stuff is a little rough at first, but maybe we'll get used to it. I'm going to have to get used to it. I don't think I have a choice. So a lot of energy. Back on my taking this, what they call a productivity shot called Magic Mind. And I think I can say it. I think I can promote it. Nobody's paying me. Like I said, I can do whatever I want. Nice little productivity shot I've been taking. Little 2-ounce green drink. Got some matcha in it. Some turmeric. Got some lion's mane mushroom. Cordyceps. I don't know. They call it like adaptogens and nootropics. Stuff that really gets my mind locked in. I feel focused, which comes in handy when you're a student here at WSU, a student of the game, whatever that means. But I gotta say, I started taking this productivity shot close to the beginning of the semester, and it has dialed me in, man. First week or so that I took it, I was sitting down to do some homework, and I looked up at the clock, and I had been doing homework for like 4 hours straight, just dialed in, wanting to do it, wanting to do my homework. Was like, what? Who am I? Who is this person? Dialed in on homework, dialed in on reading. You know, I'll read some sports articles here and there, but I'm not a reader. I don't pick up books and just start reading. I know some people that do that, and I'm just like, I don't get it. You just sit down and read for like a couple hours? At what point, like, yeah, I don't know. Some people just love to read. I've never been that person. But this Magic Mind, man, dials me in. Focus, attention span, and also brings down the stress and anxiety levels that I've had. Whole new person. It's crazy. So I'm energy's up. I'm dialed in. I'm locked in. Feeling good. Going natural. Eating better. Like I said, if I could just get back into the gym now. Still don't have that motivation. Maybe got to think about taking some. Nah, we won't say it. Don't even say it. It's all in my mind. I just gotta get back out there. Gotta get in the gym. Gotta get on the basketball court. I'm silky smooth from 3 is all I'm saying. So if there's anybody out there listening that needs a spot up shooter in a rec game, let me know. I'm available. Kind of. Schedule's pretty loaded right now, so a lot of school, a lot of work. Trying to do this podcast for only an hour, which doesn't seem like a long time, but feels like a long time when you're in the middle of it. So all right, let's get back to sports. Jeez. I told you guys I had ADHD, so Magic Mind hasn't kicked in yet. I go 2 weeks on, 1 week off. Today was the first of my 2 weeks back on. So, you know, it's going to take a little while to get back locked in here. Wow. So it's March 29th, I think. Pretty sure that's what we're on today. And baseball season's here. Opening day starts tomorrow. When baseball comes around, you know that summer's right around the corner. I love it. You know, it's hard to watch like a May baseball game, but feels good though when you can just turn on the TV and there's like a baseball game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're just like, oh, there's nothing on TV. I'll just throw on this baseball game. Although I was looking at the schedule and I gotta say, for an opening weekend, we got a pretty weak slate of games. Like the most intriguing matchup, I don't even know. I guess for me here in the Pacific Northwest, the most intriguing matchup is going to be Seattle versus Cleveland. A couple of playoff teams from last year. A couple of series winning playoff teams from last year. Seattle won a series. against Toronto. Cleveland won a series against Tampa Bay, pretty sure. And both teams are projected, I'm pretty sure, to make the playoffs again. I like Seattle this year. I think Seattle's got a good team. I don't know that they're going to win the division. I think Houston's probably still, you got to get past that juggernaut. I think Houston is still the juggernaut, although, no more Derek Verlander for them. Guy was getting old anyways, even though you say that you thought he was getting old last year, and he was, I think, did he win this Cy Young? He was good. He was really good. I know that. So you got Seattle versus Cleveland, first game, T-Mobile Park. I still call it Safeco, but it's T-Mobile. Luis Castillo, the ace for the Mariners, versus Shane Bieber, the ace for the Guardians. Still not used to that name. Cleveland Guardians. I probably can't even say what they were used to be called. But that's got to be the most intriguing matchup of the opening weekend. You got San Francisco Giants versus the Yankees. Giants, I like, Giants are one of my teams, but they didn't make any moves. Actually lost some people. So, but Yankees, people are going to pick them again, of course, to go to the World Series. They got Aaron Judge, who probably won't hit 62, probably won't hit 60, probably won't hit 50. I think the over-under on his home run total this year is going to be 45. And he's going to be right around that, I would say. If he even gets pitched to, he's no Barry Bonds, but I'm just saying, who's pitching to Aaron Judge? Really? Baseball should be a little bit more exciting this year, though. We got a pitch clock, which has been, somewhat interesting here in preseason. Couple of guys having fun with it. Couple of guys figuring out little tricks to extend the pitch clock. Sounds weird to say in baseball, pitch clock, like a shot clock for pitching. Should make it more interesting. Should make it go by a little bit faster. Hopefully baseball games aren't 4 hours long. But, I'm excited. I'm excited for baseball. Baseball means spring. Baseball means summer. The boys of summer, I love baseball. I probably won't talk about baseball again until, I'll talk some Mariners here and there, but I don't see myself really talking baseball until you get to All-Star game in July. Teams kind of start separating themselves. So, moving on. NFL news. Lamar Jackson tweeting out the other day that he has officially requested a trade. And I gotta say, Lamar, as someone who represents themselves, like myself, I don't think that was a good idea. I'm not requesting a trade. I don't think there's a market out there for me yet. I'm looking at my phone. No missed calls, no messages, no sponsorships, no major sports radio affiliates dying to have me on. And for Lamar, you know, the Ravens want him. I mean, Lamar is a good quarterback, but he's looking for that Deshaun Watson money, and nobody in the NFL wants to give him that Deshaun Watson money. Deshaun Watson doesn't even know how he got that Deshaun Watson money. $250 million, all guaranteed. Nobody has that. Nobody's getting that, at least this year. Maybe in, 3, 4, 5 years' time. But unfortunately, I think that requesting the trade kind of made things a little worse. They was already on the trading block. That's what happens when you get the franchise tag put on you, the exclusive franchise tag, is that Baltimore is saying, okay, here's what we're going to pay you. And if anybody wants to make a better offer, then yeah, you can have him. Or we can match the offer for him to stay, or you can have him. And it doesn't sound like anybody is making a higher offer. It's just so unfortunate, though, because I want him to get the bag. I think Lamar Jackson is, well, he's definitely top 10. I'm trying to think, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. I think he's right there with Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers is still up there. So he might even be top 5. Especially with his style of play. Guy runs the ball. A little more accurate than people think, too, And honestly, when Joe Burrow comes up for contract, when Jalen Hurts comes up for, I think he's better than Jalen Hurts. I know that Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl. I think in the NFC, it's probably a little bit easier to get to the Super Bowl with the lack of franchise quarterbacks. But those guys are going to get paid. I don't know what they're going to get paid, but they're going to get paid. I don't think they're going to get paid $250 million guaranteed. Cleveland. That's such a Cleveland thing. So desperate. But Lamar Jackson deserves money. He deserves a lot of money. I think he's worth it. Doesn't seem like anybody else in the league thinks he's worth it, though. So, it's a mess. Shouldn't have gone on Twitter and said, hey, I requested a trade. That's all I'm saying. He didn't need to do that. You can request a trade, even though probably should not have even have done that either. Because they already put you on the trading block by signing you to the franchise tag, exclusive franchise tag. Yeah. In my opinion, he's going to be in Baltimore next year. Baltimore will, I think, be a playoff team as long as Lamar can stay healthy. And I guess that's been what's been the deciding factor of all of this is the last 2 years he's missed 5 or 6 games, which, that's like a third of the season. It's a big portion when you only have 17 games to play. Lamar Jackson's set to make like $2 million a week this year. 34, I think it's like 35 million on the franchise tag. So, I mean, but I think he's worth more than that. Shoot. Aaron's going to get like 50. I know he's been around a lot longer, but in this 2023, man, guys should be getting that money. Lamar Jackson should be getting that bag. He should be a $45-50 million a year quarterback. And, make it. Lamar Jackson is still young. He's still only 25 years old. He's still a young guy. Sign him to a 10-year deal. Make it 250, 260, 270. Make it a lot of money. Front load it. I don't know. I don't know how contracts work really. Because I know that like you sign a guy to a 5-year deal and you have the opportunity to get out of it after like 2 or 3 years. So it's not like you're really signing him for that long. I think Bart Scott called it funny money the other day. And that's exactly what it is. It's like, oh yeah, we'll sign you to 10 years, 200 million, but we'll have the opportunity to let go of you after 3. Doesn't even make sense to me. It's like, why even have those other years tacked onto it? I don't know. And since we're on the topic of NFL trades, still no trade for Aaron Rodgers. My long lost doppelganger. Still no trade for Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think this deal is going to get done anytime soon. I'm actually tired of talking about it. I'm actually tired of the major networks making this a top story. It's all NFL trying to stay relevant during the off season. They want you to talk NFL, even though nothing's going on. But yeah, it's a topic. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers We're going to talk about Green Bay Packer front office. We're going to talk about Green Bay Packer GM Brian Gutekunst. He said this. Aaron said that. We haven't said anything to each other. We're not communicating. Come on. Boring. Right? It's like, let's just get the deal done. What's the holdup? You think you're really going to get a first round draft pick? And I'm not saying that he's not worth it. But you think you're going to get a first round draft pick for a guy that's 38, 39 years old, been in the league like 18 years. Yeah. He's a top 5 quarterback. He's not a first round pick. He's not worth a first round pick. Take a couple seconds, and quit playing this out. He doesn't want to be there. You don't want him there. You guys have already made that clear to each other, to the world, publicly. Not worth talking about. So I'm done. I'm done talking about that. Aaron Rodgers needs to go. Well, I don't want him to go to the Jets, but he needs to leave Green Bay. It needs to happen sooner than later. We need to get this thing done. Put it to rest. And that's all that's going on in the NFL. Nothing. So, yesterday, transitioning smoothly here, as I do, to the NBA. We had yesterday some news come out that I was pretty excited about. Not that it has anything to do with anything current or relevant, but some information was dropped yesterday in the Twitterverse about upcoming NBA Hall of Fame class. And I gotta say, this is probably the best class of NBA players and coaches that I've seen in a long time. All players and coaches, very, very, very well deserving. First off, I'll start with my boy, because I'm a Laker fan. I'm an old Laker fan. I'm a Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal days. Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol days. My man, Pau Gasol. He's in. He made it. Hall of Fame bound. Hall of Fame career. Played for a few teams. Started his career off with the Memphis Grizzlies. Had a nice run there. Was a dominant player. And that's why the Lakers traded for him. Kobe was stoked. Kobe loved Pau. Kobe loved Pau. And so did I. God, he was so smooth. Pau was so smooth. Had his jersey retired by the Lakers a couple of weeks ago. That was emotional, obviously, the whole Kobe Bryant situation. Vanessa was there and the family. Tears were shed. Jersey, right up there in between both Kobe jerseys. What a moment. What a moment then. What a moment now for Pau Gasol being inducted in the NBA Hall of Fame. Love it. Gotta love it. Then you got my not so favorite, but admittedly well deserving, Tony Parker, San Antonio Spur. 3 championships. Hell of a point guard. Hell of a point guard. Hell of a story. French international player. You know, played on those Olympic teams. Played on the San Antonio Spur teams with Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan. And what a trio that was. Gosh. I hate to admit it because I'm not a San Antonio Spurs guy whatsoever. Can't stand them. Obviously, because they were in direct competition with the Lakers all those years. From the late 90s until just a few years ago, really. But hell of a career for Tony Parker. Got to give him credit. And his head coach, Greg Popovich, which I don't understand. I thought you had to be retired for 5 years before you could be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Greg Popovich getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, even though he is still coaching. Can't be much longer. They're like, dude, we know that you're not going to be coaching much longer, but you've been coaching for forever. So we're just going to do it now. We're just going to put you into the Hall of Fame right now while you're still on the bench there in San Antonio. You won 5 championships, which is, it doesn't get, unless you're, Phil Jackson, doesn't get any better than that. And I love Greg. I hate the Spurs, but how do you not love Greg Popovich? He's like super salty sometimes. Then he's like super, not emotional, but just a lot of heartfelt comments come out of that guy. A lot of inspired comments. A lot of funny comments. I think earlier in the season, he's all, yeah, I wouldn't put your money on us to win any NBA titles this year. They're not the betting favorites. Gotta respect him. Hell of a coach. Hell of a coach. And then you got a couple of old rivals who I would consider rivals. They played each other in NBA Finals. Dwayne Wade, longtime Miami Heat, multiple-time NBA championship with the Miami Heat. I think all-time leading scorer for the Miami Heat. Hell of a player. Absolutely deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. Won a championship with Shaq, early 2000s. Won a couple of ships with LeBron and Chris Bosh. Not as many as we would have thought, but regardless, absolute Hall of Fame career. And his rival, Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, how do you not love Dirk, right? Guy's incredible. I think he's the all-time leading scorer for Dallas Mavericks. And multiple? Did he win one, or he might have won only one? I kind of want to say two. I'll have to look that up. Don't remember. But that smooth little fadeaway, one leg fadeaway, that's iconic. That's iconic shot in the NBA. You know, guys like Luka mimic that shot, as they should mimic everything Dirk does. God, what a hell of a player. Of 3 out of the 4 players, international. Dirk, Powell, Tony, all international players. Very impressive. And last but not least, Becky Hammon, WNBA. 6-time All-Star. I want to say she was on the coaching staff with Greg Popovich for a few years there. Recently won a WNBA championship with the Vegas Aces. Hell of a career herself. You know? Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, kind of ran out of time here. Time got away from me. There's one little thing that I'm interested in looking at this weekend. This weekend, April 2nd. Pickleball Slam. Pickleball Slam. And you got some greats. John McEnroe. Andre Agassi. Looks a little puffier, but still, hey, looks good. Looks good. Andy Roddick. Not the powerhouse of McEnroe or Andre, but a good player, good American player in his own right. Michael Chang. I gotta admit, I don't know a whole lot about Michael Chang, but I do know that I love me some pickleball, and I cannot wait to watch this pickleball slam with these tennis greats, especially John. You know, John's going to be talking. John's going to be running his mouth. John's going to get upset. He's going to get upset with an official. There's going to be an out of bounds called, and he's going to lose his mind. Right? I hope we get the same John McEnroe from his tennis days here at the Pickleball Slam. So, all right. Well, that's it. That's all we got for today. I gotta say, a little more buttoned up, a little more dialed in. Nerves were not as nervy as they were for episode 1. We're gonna get better. I'm gonna keep looking at my phone, see if any of these sponsorships come ringing. Like to see that Brinks truck come backing up in my driveway there. No promises. Probably not gonna happen. But hey, this one was better. The next one will be even more better. Until then, until Friday, 9 a.m., give or take a minute or two. Can't wait. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you then.